Right, we've had a Hudl for over a month now, so I thought it probably is worth updating you on what we've been getting up to with it and basically what we think of it. And I have to tell you now, right from the off, if you're watching this and you're from Tesco, you're going to like it. As a consumer device, this is wonderful. And I'll explain what I mean by consumer device, because that's what separates this from the iPad. First of all, I mentioned this in the last video, the instructions that come with this and the suggestions that come with this are just fantastic. A whole section on child safety. It is brilliant, and it shows you how to download apps so you can lock particular parts of this. Now, there's no question that for security, for schools, for safety with apps and things like that, I still think iOS has it, and the iPad is still the machine for schools. But you know what? This is catching up fast. If you're new to Android or you're new to any tablets like this, this runs you right through the basics. So I really do like this. Nice little interactive hotspots on there. So it's wonderful. This is running stock Android. Now, that won't mean anything to a lot of people, but what it does mean is that there's nothing over the top of it. Samsung, HTC, all these guys, they put things over the top of this Android experience. And I have to say, I've been a Nexus 7 owner for some while, and I do like it like this, where there's nothing over the top. There's a couple of bits of Tesco stuff on here, but to be honest, if you want to get rid of these, all you have to do is just keep your finger on it there and send it up to the cross button at the top there. They're not deleted, they're in your apps, which are around back here. So they do exist on the Hudl, but you can take them off your front screen if you want to, which is very handy. It used to be that there weren't nearly as many apps on the Android system as there was with iOS, but Android is catching up, and basically you get your apps through the Play Store. You can get them from anywhere, but get them through the Play Store, and then you're fairly assured that your apps are going to be safe. Now, you can't get every app that you want and you use on iOS, but conversely, there are some apps on Android that you can't get on iOS. But the App Store is dead easy to use. A quick search on the App Store. Let's just have a look. If I just go to autism, which is something we would search for quite a bit in education, in special ed anyway, and just see what apps there are for autism. And as you can see, there's a massive selection of apps, just like iOS, and many apps now I'm finding are available on both iOS and Android as well. And many of my favourite apps, like Spacecraft 3D, which we use for science, work on Android, which is great. So let's go just to prove it. Select Spacecraft, we'll do Curiosity. This is Spacecraft 3D from NASA. It's free, and you print out a marker and then point your device, in this case the Hudl, just pointed at a marker. So there you can see that I've got my three-dimensional. How cool is that? There are lots of apps that we use in education, like Little Fox Music Box. That's one we use for storytelling. And one of my favourite children's books is this one. It's called Nighty Night, and this is available on Android as well as iOS. So there are lots of apps that you will find are both on iOS and on Android as well. In other words, you can put them on your Hudl. Facebook, Twitter, all of those apps, your email, you can do it all on the Hudl without a problem at all. A lot of people say that the iPad is much faster. Let's have a look at that in reality. I'm going to use SpringPad, and just for the techies, I'm shutting SpringPad down on Android and I'm shutting it down on iOS. So let's just go back. Let's go to there. There's SpringPad. There's SpringPad. Spot the difference. Let's have a look. And you'll see that the iPad fires up a little bit quicker. So there's no doubt it is a little bit faster. In terms of your navigation, because remember this has got GPS built into it, and an app I use quite a lot is Waze. So if I just go into Waze and you can see there that they want me to rate it, but weighs fired up a little bit quicker on the iPad than it did on the Hudl. But to most people, is there really a lot of difference? Not sure there is. Add that to the fact that both operating systems work approximately the same way. Nowadays, if you know how to find your way around Android, you'll find your way around iOS 7 and vice versa. With both systems, you're just scrolling up to get rid of different apps. There, got a few more going on my iOS device there, but yeah, hey, there you go. Oh, I'll just get rid of the App Store and then press that back. So, easy to operate, both becoming very much the same, both Android and iOS. Getting your news and playing with the BBC iPlayer and downloading programs is pretty good with the Hudl. You can do it. All your weather apps all work, so as a day-to-day device, this is really great. If there's one area where the Hudl does fall down, it's when you're out and about, because this doesn't have 3G. So that meant that I had to get a MiFi. One of these, this 3 device here in the UK, works tremendously well. So I can take this Hudl anywhere and use it out and about, and I'm paying about £10 a month for the contract on this. And don't forget, I can connect any computer and any iPad that I want to, which is just Wi-Fi, to that. The Hudl will connect to that, and then out and about, no trouble at all. Now, many Wi-Fi only devices don't have GPS built in, but the Hudl does. This means that you can turn your Hudl into your car navigator, as demonstrated in Scotland a couple of weeks ago. Here we are, my wife's filming this, I'm driving, I've got the Hudl in my dashboard there, and it's navigating us back down south. And do you know, it works tremendously well as a navigator, and you'll find TomTom, Sejic, all of those navigation apps will work absolutely brilliantly on this £120 device. That makes it nearly cheaper than a TomTom. And with the Hudl HDMI lead that you buy from Tesco, although you can get them from Amazon, you can plug it straight into the back of a TV or a Pico projector like we would use in special ed, like this P100 from personalprojectors.co.uk, and you can project it straight onto the wall. No messing around with adapters, no messing about with Apple TV, just £15 for a cable. Straight in. There you go. That's dead easy. Another great strength of the Hudl is the expandable memory. There's a micro SD card, that's 32 gig, 16 gig on board, so I can go to 48 gigabytes. I'm going to use this for training. So I can store videos on an SD card and very, very simply tap on the video I want to play. And in this case, I'm going to use the video player just once, and it will fire up the training video, and somebody can just take this and watch. It's a great idea from Fenton School in Wales. The team there, wonderful. Look at this, stories on a string. I like this, they're doing the Gruffalo. This is going to be a wonderful training device here at Hirstwood Training, because unlike an iPad, I can just swap the SD cards in and out of this thing. Add to that the fact that your home movies work as well. So what's the difference between the Hudl and everything else? Well, compared to the Nexus 7, and this is the old Nexus 7, which I've got a few of these, I really like the Nexus 7 because of the form factor. It's nice and light, and that fits in your back pocket. But that one is £199, or 3G like that one is 230 something pounds. The iPad Air is a gorgeous machine, and I have to say, for work, this is the one for me, because I can do a lot of content creation on this. In other words, I can make movies on this, I can edit movies on this, and the processor in this is just about as fast as most laptops. So for word processing, for documents, for all of that stuff, if you're after a machine for work and a machine that's very, very secure for education, that's the one. The iPad is without doubt brilliant. If it's size you're after, obviously the Air is wonderful. But you know what? The Hudl does so much stuff for so little money. And the connectability of this thing, the HDMI out, the SD cards in, means that for training, it's a no-brainer. It's Tesco Hudl. And I really think it's a great device. So, should you get one? Well, £119? Yeah, it's worth it.